Everything we try to do here for the next 18 months, we want them to be permanent. So if you look at this Power 9 pyramid, if you can just adopt 6 or so, it's worth anywhere from 5 to 6 extra years of life expectancy at middle age, even more if you're younger. But how do you actually get a population to adopt healthy behaviors? Well, the way we do it in America right now is we spend about $110 billion a year on diets, exercise programs, and supplements. And they're not necessarily a bad idea, but the problem with them is they wear out very quickly. If you start with 100 people on the Blue Zone diets today, you're going to lose 10% of them within 3 months, 90% of them within 7 months. People get bored. And almost 100% of them within 2 years. Same thing with exercise programs. You start with 100 today, you lose 33 within the first year, 66 within 2 years, and they're almost all gone within 3 years. And the same thing with supplements. Even if there was a supplement that could reverse your aging, and one does not exist, Americans wouldn't even take it long enough for it to make a difference. So if diet programs and exercise programs don't work, what does? Well, I got a second grant from National Geographic a few years back that let me research the world for communities that were unhealthy and got healthy. And I discovered 2 things. Number one, it has never worked in America, despite the fact that we spent tens of millions of dollars on public health initiatives that try to reduce obesity and heart disease. They work for a while, but as soon as the researchers leave, people revert back to their old behaviors. There are 2 places in the world that have actually brought down chronic disease, heart disease, cancer, and obesity, and have maintained it for years or even decades. One of these places, 1972, North Karelia, Finland, they had the highest rate of cardiovascular disease in the world. These were rich white men who were dying at 55. This project, which we modeled the Blue Zone project off of, brought down cardiovascular disease by 80% and cancer by 60%. And their secret sauce was not hounding people to eat right, not hounding people to get their exercise. It simply changed people's surroundings. The key concept here of Blue Zones is we make permanent changes to the environments. It's all inspired by the Power 9. You know, if you ask a centenarian in Sardinia or Okinawa how they got to be 100, they have no idea. The simple fact of the matter is longevity happened to them. What we want to do is set up Spencer so that longevity happens to the people who live here without having to think too much about it. What that requires is spending a little bit of time, effort, and resources up front. Most of us, about 90% of us, spend most of our lives within about 10 miles of our home. So that's the area we're trying to optimize. That's the area we want to Blue Zone. So what are the levers you can pull to actually Blue Zone a community? Well, the first and the biggest one, according to the CDC, is policy. What are the ordinances? What are the municipal laws? Do I live in a place where the subsidies and the taxes favor vegetables, or do they favor soda pop and chips? Do I live in a place where it's difficult to market junk food to kids? Is it easy to smoke here? Does the economic lifeblood sprawl outward, or does it turn inward to try to create a social nucleus of the community? Built environment. This is Dan Burden, who's coming up right after me. Dan Burden is the Amadeus Mozart meets Albert Einstein, meets the Pied Piper, quite frankly. I don't know if any of you were out today on his walk, but he can show a town the low-hanging fruit on how to make the active option the easy option. That simple change alone will raise the activity level of the whole population by 30%. I don't have to buy you an expensive gym membership. I don't have to give you yoga classes. I don't have to give you a free t-shirt to walk. No ab masters. You just clean up parks. You think about how you build streets so they favor people as much as they favor the automobile, and it happens naturally. We've seen this happen several dozen times. Social networks. Those of you who signed a pledge, we're going to expect you to create Moais. We are going to surround you with other people who are motivated to change your habits. That motivation is contagious. You're about to catch it. Buildings, schools, restaurants, grocery stores, and even workplaces, even your home. We have about 55 different design tweaks that we can do to each of those buildings to nudge people to eat a little bit less, move a little bit more, and socialize a little bit more. And then finally, those of you who pledge are going to be given a free purpose workshop from the world's top expert in purpose, a guy by the name of Richard Leider. And right after that, there's an effort to try to get you to speed date with volunteer organizations. Why? Because once you find your purpose, you need an outlet for it. And we know that people who volunteer have lower healthcare costs, they're happier, and they have lower BMIs. In other words, they lose weight. So people who volunteer may be thinking they're doing something for other people when they're actually doing it for themselves. Can this actually work? Well, Dan Burden and a few others of ours, Joel Spoonheim, who's here, went to Albert Lea, Minnesota in 2008. We listened to people. We worked with their city manager and helped them create just at least one walkway from every neighborhood to downtown. That occasion just connecting a few sidewalks. We helped them build a trail around a downtown lake, so there's an easy place for people to recreate. We helped them build 4 public gardens that instantly filled. This is taking a page right from Blue Zones. About 50% of the restaurants agreed to a number of simple changes. You know, America's a pretty fat place. I hate to say it. It's one of the fattest countries in the world. And we didn't get fat overnight. We actually got fat at 200 calories a day. Not very much. That's about a half a cookie. There are a dozen little tweaks you can do to a restaurant experience that does not touch the revenue of that restaurant owner, that doesn't even really change your experience, at least consciously, that will help people consume 200 fewer calories without thinking about it. When you sit down to dinner, do they automatically give you bread, or do you have to ask for it? When you order a sandwich, do you automatically get fries, or do you automatically get salads? Are the adjectives used to describe the entrees adjectives that nudge you to the right entree? Do you know the entree that most assures that people won't order it? It's the healthy choice. Nobody wants the damn healthy choice. When you go out to eat, you want something good. So using adjectives like crispy or Italian primavera gets people to order. We went into Hy-Vee's actually and worked with them to tag Blue Zone's foods, even create a Blue Zone checkout aisle, and also into schools. And we have 9 policies where kids were mindlessly move more and eat a little bit less. And then finally, part of our strategy in Albert Lea was to bring people together exactly as we're doing tonight and ask them to sign a pledge. The pledge doesn't cost any money. In fact, we have nothing to sell you. The pledge offers a Chinese menu, if you will, of 20 evidence-based ways to change your surroundings. We are coming in here with expertise from around the world. We're coming here with resources. We're coming here with nudges and defaults, many of which are under your chair right here. They'll be explained to you later. But we want people, to sign the pledge, and when people sign the pledge, we want to take them seriously. Your part of the contract is you read the pledge and you sign it. And you have every right to read the pledge and say, this is not for me, I don't want to participate. But if when we're done tonight, if this seems to be something that's for you, we'd love for you to sign the pledge and take it very seriously. Pledge just asks you to do simple things like next spring, grow a garden. And if you don't have room in your yard, join one of the public gardens. Let our experts come into your kitchens and help you optimize your kitchen so you'll consume fewer calories without even thinking about it. Join a Moai. Meet a half a dozen other people from your community who have taken the pledge as well. This works extremely well.